Hello people and welcome to Nico Ranks the Physics of Mega Man from the classic Mega Man games. So what does that include? Well, it includes pretty much all the movement, how fluid it is to move around and fire shots, and basically controlling Mega Man is the thing that we're looking at here. Thought I'd just do this for fun, no other reason. So starting from Mega Man 1. Controlling Mega Man is pretty fluent, although we know that there is the velocity problem. I'm not gonna talk about any ROM hacks here which might fix these issues. I'm talking about the original release that came out and that we played as kids. Mega Man 1 doesn't really have a lot of issues, pretty straightforward. Great control on Mega Man. Of course, the velocity problem eats a lot of points because it is what it is. But for the first attempt that they had, I think they nailed Mega Man's movements and control pretty well. I don't have a lot of bad things to say about it. A few things come to mind is when you pick up energy that's near a pit, you will just walk off and die. That's one problem that they have, especially in Wily 2. You go and pick up those energies near the pits and you'll just walk off even though you didn't press anything, so there is some input delay sometimes. That's a thing to consider here as well. And sometimes when picking up guts blocks you can, for some reason, pick up another one. And the original doesn't vanish, although that's in your favor, but still talking about the controls here. And sometimes you just can't pick them up as soon as you should. So some issues there. We could talk about how firing too fast doesn't count. There are subtle iframes in the game, but we're only talking about controls here and controlling Mega Man, so those mechanics we are not gonna talk about today, and they will not affect the score. But hey, Mega Man 1, we're gonna drop it. I guess C is pretty fair. I think C is alright. It could even be B, but C is where I see Mega Man 1 for now. Then if we talk about Mega Man 2, basically running on the same engine as Mega Man 1, they fixed the problem with the velocity, so that's no longer a problem. There are other problems, but they are pretty minuscule. I think Mega Man 2's controls are pretty spot on. I can't find a lot of faults. Mega Man 2 just does the controls right, it feels correct. But again, if I had to mention something about the mechanics, well, sometimes, especially in the Mega Dragon fight, there is so much lag that your damage sprite is gonna linger on for like double, even triple the time, so you just slide off to your death. But that's to do with the mechanics, the controls, controlling Mega Man. Not a lot of things I can find that are wrong. It's pretty good. Wouldn't say it's S tier, but I think considering that the game doesn't have a slide and doesn't have a charged buster, does a well job with what it has, and that's the basic controls. They're alright. I'll put that to A. Then unfortunately Mega Man 3 getting a bit of the short stick here. Of course, Mega Man 3 wouldn't put that on F tier, but if we're only talking about controls here, so I just might. Mega Man 3 has a known issue where you will miss inputs, and at the time we were using the NES controllers, we kinda knew they weren't great. They wore off quickly, you had to change the little rubber pads inside them from time to time, so you didn't have to press on the buttons so hard. Over time the rubber just hardened and it was pretty difficult to press the buttons down. So we might have blamed our controllers on this one, when the fault was actually in the game. Has something to do with the enemies spawning on the screen and you pressing buttons that just don't register. They don't they do nothing sometimes, and you will be missing inputs quite a lot in Mega Man 3. Whether it's you using weapons or just a normal buster, it's a huge problem in the game and the controls suffer as a result quite awfully. If you play it just normally, casually, probably not gonna see a problem, but as soon as you start and try and play it a bit faster, you start to realize that your inputs just aren't registering as much as they should. So that's a huge issue. Mega Man 3 kinda getting shafted in this department. Awful controls for that reason. Otherwise, though, it's like a perfect job. I mean, when it works, it really works. The slide works fine. There's no problems. You can jump out of a slide. I mean, no huge problems there. Everything just works. But because of the input issue, I have to put it on F, because that's what it is. Sorry, Mega Man 3, you've done this to yourself. Then we have Mega Man 4. Incorporating the charged Mega Buster with the slide. Probably a beat here. There's only one issue I know of, but it's a pretty big one. At least it is for me. So everything works fine. Everything works as well as they do in Mega Man 3. Except, sometimes when you charge your Buster and you try to turn, you sometimes end up firing the wrong way. I don't know what it is. There's probably like a single frame that's missing from the animation. So sometimes you just end up firing the charged Buster the wrong way, and that's enough for me to drop it from A to beat here. It has an issue, for sure. It's not as smooth as you think it would be, for that reason. And that's probably the only issue when it comes to controls and physics of Mega Man. Of course, there are some things like the balloon adapter zips and shit like that can happen. But of course, that's true to Mega Man 2 as well. But those are such extreme cases that you almost have to know what you're doing to cause those things to happen. On a normal playthrough, unlikely to encounter those. So just because of that, I'll drop Mega Man 4 to the beat here. Mega Man 5. And this is an interesting one. Not a huge fan of Mega Man 5 myself, but I do have to say, it might just have the best physics of any Mega Man game. So far, from Mega Man 1 to 5, it might be the best. They have clearly fixed the issue from Mega Man 4. With the Charged Buster, it now works flawlessly, even though the Charged Buster kind of ruins the whole game, which is ironic, but we are not gonna talk about that today, so we're only talking about the controls and physics of Mega Man and controlling him. So that's why Mega Man 5 gets to be in the S tier. Controls are flawless, no problems. Some issues can be encountered with the Super Arrow, but that's again more mechanics based than controlling Mega Man. But I think out of all of these that are on the tier list so far, Mega Man 5 is probably the best one out of these. If I had a say in it, I would put the mechanics of Mega Man 5 to all of these other games, and they would work better. I can't find anything wrong there. Of course, again, when you get hit, you lose the Charged Buster, you lose your charge, but that's a mechanic, not a control issue, and it's not an issue, it's just a gameplay decision, so. Mega Man 6, however. Damn, that's a hard one. It's certainly gonna battle with Mega Man 3, in the sense that you cannot jump out of your slide, which is a horrible issue in my opinion. Of course, that also happens, I forgot, that also happens in Mega Man 4 actually. So underwater you cannot jump from a slide, but it's still probably gonna be in the B tier, because it's still better than Mega Man 1. Is it though? So I'm actually gonna bump Mega Man 1 to the same tier as Mega Man 4 for that reason. They have small issues, but nothing too major. But Mega Man 6? Can't jump from a slide. And you have to know that when you switch to the adapters, you have to press down the button to skip the cutscene every time. Bit of an annoying thing. I would also put that under controls in this case. Not a huge fan of Mega Man 6's controls, they kinda ruined the whole game for me. Probably still better than Mega Man 3's controls, so I would almost bump that up. Mega Man 3 is great when it works, but when it doesn't, you'll feel it. Mega Man 6, you kinda learn how to control it after a few stages. You get used to it. So I guess it's a tiny bit better than Mega Man 3 in that case, but not a huge ton of other problems though. It works pretty well. That's the only issue in Mega Man 6, but it is a huge issue though. So I'll probably bump it up to D tier. It is a huge issue, yes, but it's not gonna ruin the whole game, whereas in Mega Man 3, missing your inputs kinda unforgiving at times, and you just can't accept that behavior. When you press a button, it should just work. So the fact that it can happen is just a huge issue. I think that's fair right there. Mega Man 7 works fine. Can't find a lot of problems in Mega Man 7. Mega Man 7's most issues come from the presentation, how it's laid out. They come from the mechanics of the game and not that much the controls. Sliding can be a bit of problematic, but again, that's not controls based. That's just the mechanics of the game and how it works. So actually the controls in Mega Man 7 are pretty good. Can't find a lot of faults in them. We're gonna have to make a mechanics list, but this is just the controls list now. But what comes to controls, Mega Man 7 is not bad. Probably as good as Mega Man 2, I'd say. Not a lot of problems. I can't think of any single problem from the top of my head. Of course, they probably pop up when I'm editing this, but right now, can't really find an issue in Mega Man 7. Could also put that to S tier, but just because of the mechanics, they kinda lurk into my mind. So it's not the perfect... the presentation kinda ruins the control for the player. I'll put it that way, okay? Otherwise though, it's pretty good. Can't find a lot of issues there. Mega Man 8 once again. No matter what you think about the game, the controls... I think they work fine. I don't think there's any issues, in fact. Might be some delay for certain actions, but again... kind of the same thing with Mega Man 7, not a lot of issues with the controls or controlling Mega Man or the physics of it. Don't have much else to say about that. Mega Man 9, I would say works perfectly fine. The tippy-toe while firing is a bit strange. I've talked about that before, but that's not anything that's gonna affect gameplay. So Mega Man 9's controls and how you control Mega Man, they are spot on, I feel like. They work as well as they can. I can't remember a single issue, as well as Mega Man 10 using the same engine, of course. Nothing changed. So I don't think there are any issues in 9 and 10, any major issues that are gonna ruin your day. 9 and 10 doing an exceptional job from the controls perspective. Really a phenomenal job. If you wanna choose a control set from any of these games, you probably want the Mega Man 9 and 10 experience, or Mega Man 5, to be honest. And then Mega Man 11, the newcomer. It's a bit quirky. I have to say that it's a bit... you don't feel like you're in full control. I feel like that's the issue. It's kind of clunky. There is something about the controls. If it's a small delay or just like general clunkiness, I feel like Mega Man 11, I can't put my finger on it, but there is something wrong about how it controls. Certainly needed a lot more refinement on how Mega Man moves and fires and such. I'm gonna have to put that to the side here. I'm not sure what it is, but I feel like something is not quite right about the controls in Mega Man 11. Of course, I can't see Rockman Forte here, but it's basically the same as Mega Man 8, so... oh, there it is. There we go. Rockman Forte. Sharing the same place with Mega Man 8. It's kind of the same game. But there is my top list, Mega Man 1 through 11 and Rockman Forte. Let me know what your list looks like when it comes to controls and controlling Mega Man. I hope you enjoyed my opinion. What does yours look like? Leave it in the comments. If you agreed with what I said, leave a like. If you disagreed, leave a dislike. Catch you next time.